We have to win this game. On Tuesday evening, Arsenal are back after a week and a bit's break, and we will be going to the City Ground to be taking on Nottingham Forest, a place that last season we lost at, and our title hopes basically ended there. And this, to me, is a huge banana skin game. We have to win every game from here on in. Like I said in the Crystal Palace preview, we can't afford any slip-ups in our next 5 or so games. We have to win every single one of them if we want to still have a shot at the Premier League title. And I genuinely believe that if we lose this game against Forest, any bit of hope that we had for winning the Premier League is out the window. It's all over. And the last thing we have to hope on is the Champions League, which is a whole nother issue. We have to win every game from here on in, at least for our next 5 or so games. We have to, and we can't afford a loss or even a draw at the City Ground. We have to get all 3 points, especially considering that we've had a week and a bit off. No excuses. We need to win this game. So in today's video, we'll be previewing the game, talking about the potential starting 11 and how I think the game will go. So what's going on, everyone? You are listening to Gunner Central here. I hope you guys are all doing well. Please be sure to like the video, subscribe if you guys haven't already, and let's get into it. Now, like I said, going into this game, I suspect it to be quite a tough game. It's a banana skin game for sure. Forest haven't been good at all this season. They sit 16th in the league, and they're just not looking really good. They're not looking fluid. They've been struggling in recent times. They just had a 0-0 draw with Bristol City on the weekend, so we have to win this game, especially considering that we've had the weekend off. We've had a week and a bit's break. We need to be beating Nottingham Forest. Simple as that. And yes, we haven't won an away game in 8 weeks. Yes, 8 weeks, we still haven't won an away game, but I couldn't care less about that stat. We need to go into the City Ground and get all 3 points. We have to. And going into this game, I know our form isn't all that good. In our last 5 games, we have 3 losses, 1 draw, and just 1 win. That win coming in our most recent game in an absolute battering of Crystal Palace. We weren't particularly good that game. I said in the post-match reaction, it felt like we never had to really try all that hard to beat Palace. Palace beat themselves for us, essentially. We never had to leave second gear, and we still won 5-0. Clean sheets, a much needed clean sheet, by the way. But overall, besides that Palace game, we are in dire need of better performances. Even that Palace game, again, we weren't really all that good. So if we can up the levels, perform better than we did against Palace, that would be much appreciated from me, and I'm sure Arsenal fans around the world. And for Forest going into this game, their form isn't that bad. It's 2 draws, 2 wins, and 1 defeat. That defeat coming in a 3-2 loss to Brentford. But other than that, they have beat Man United 2-1, which I don't know how much you're going to praise them for because it is Man United, but they still did that. They drew recently against Bristol City in a game that I wasn't really all that convinced in Forest. I thought Bristol City did quite well. It was a fairly even game, so I'm sure Forest want to perform much better than they did against Bristol City, but they're still looking pretty decent. They don't have really any problem with scoring goals, even though they just did have a 0-0 draw, but other than that, they don't really have problems with scoring goals. They've scored 8 goals in their last 5 games, so they definitely can score, which we need to be very wary of, considering that Palace game was our first clean sheet in Lord knows how long, so we need to be wary of Forest's attack, and that's why I think this is a little bit of a banana skin. We did beat Forest in the first game of the Premier League season with a 2-1 victory. Saka scored that absolute worldie, but even then, we weren't all that good against Forest. Timber got injured in that game. Even though we won, I still wasn't all that happy with the performance, so this game to me means a lot. We have to win it, and as long as we can be defensively sound in this game, I think we should be able to win. Now, this might surprise a lot of you Arsenal fans, but Arsenal have kept the most clean sheets in the whole Premier League this season, with 8 clean sheets in 21 games, which is very, very good. And if we can keep a clean sheet against Forest, we should be able to get a victory. We are still ranked 5th in the Premier League on goals scored, which is really, really good as well. And get this, for a lot of haters of Bukayo Saka, he is ranked 3rd in the Premier League in big chances created, with 11. So much for a flop of a player. Saka has been really good this season, despite what a lot of you may think, and I think if he is purring against Forest like he did in the first game against Forest, I genuinely believe that we should be able to walk away as maybe 3-1 victors or 2-0 victors. Anything like that, I'll be very, very happy. But I just think something is telling me this is a very banana skin type game. Not that we're going to lose the game, but we have to be very wary on how we play Forest. We can't go in there and think just because they're 16th in the Premier League, just because they only have 5 wins in the Premier League all season long, we can't go in there thinking this should be an easy win. We need to get our get back from last year, and we need to stay in this title race. We have a puncher's chance, but if we lose this game, the Premier League title hopes that we do have is out the window. It's fully over. We need a victory. Now, going into this game, we'll talk about injuries and suspensions. We'll start off with Arsenal. Declan Rice has a muscle injury apparently, but he is doubtful, but not really. He's kind of going to be touch and go. I do think Rice should be fit enough to at least be on the bench for the game, but I'm praying and I'm hoping he'll be able to start. Vieira still has a groin injury. Timber will still be out. Al-Neni is on international duty, even though Egypt just got knocked out of the AFCON. And Tomiyasu is on international duty with Japan in the Asian Cup. Now, added on to that, Gabriel has a knock apparently, and he is doubtful for the game. I pray that is not the case because Gabriel has been so good this season. Him and Saliba have been the reason why we are still in the Premier League title race. I pray and I'm hoping that Gabriel should be fit for the game. And some huge injury returning news. Thomas Partey was with the squad, was training with the squad all week, and I'm praying and I'm hoping we can get to see some Partey minutes. Now, as much as all of us Arsenal fans are hoping he starts, I'm going to be realistic, and I'm just going to admit that that's not going to happen. I doubt Thomas Partey starts. I would love to be proven wrong, and I'd love for Thomas Partey to start, but I wouldn't blame Arteta if he starts Partey on the bench. I just think you have to be quite cautious with him at the moment. So for me, Thomas Partey shouldn't be starting, even though if he does start, that will be a huge boost to our team. Now, going on to injuries and suspensions for Forest. With them playing on Friday, they are quite littered with injuries and suspensions. Elanga will probably be out for the game. Origi will be out. Felipe will probably be out. And then they have a lot of people on international duty. Niakate, Sangare, Kuyate, Aina, Boli, Aurier. They are quite littered. They are going to be quite thin of a team. And they just played on Friday. Again, there will be no excuses. We can't lose this game. We can't draw this game. With all their injuries and all their players at the AFCON and how thin they are, how they've recently just played on Friday, we have to go in and we have to win this, especially with our boost of Partey coming back. Hopefully Rice will be fit. We need to win this game. No questions asked. Now, going on to the starting 11 that I would play for the game. In goal, I would choose Ramsdale, but that's not going to happen. So I'm going to say David Raya starts in goal. The left back that I would play would obviously be Zinchenko. I think it'll be a very good game for him to start against Forest. Forest will probably play the low block. He should be able to be the inverted Zinchenko, hopefully unlock the Forest defense, and just play an overall good game like he did against Palace. Right back for me will be Ben White. Hopefully we can see a little more overlapping runs like we did against Palace, and not the stagnant Ben White we've been seeing recently. And the two centre backs, again, I know Gabriel is doubtful, but I have hope and I'm praying that Gabriel starts. So for me, the centre backs will be Gabriel and Saliba. But if Gabriel isn't fit and can't start, I don't mind Kivior at centre back next to Saliba. As long as Kivior isn't playing left back, I don't mind Kivior. And now into the midfield, again, I don't think Thomas Partey will start. I'll be very surprised if he does. So for me, hopefully Declan Rice is fit. And if that's the case, Declan Rice starts in CDM. And my two midfielders would be Martin Odegaard, the captain, of course. And another surprise one, I chose him for the Crystal Palace preview, and he never started. He came off the bench and did quite well. For me, the other midfielder next to Martin Odegaard would be Emil Smith-Rowe. I know Havertz could be very useful against Forest with his physical tools, but for me, Smith-Rowe can unlock a defense really well. He looked good against Palace, good one-touch play, looked sharp, and he needs some minutes. So for me, I'd start him against Forest. And my front three, I actually would have been starting Trossard at left wing. Trossard had a really decent game against Palace, but for me, Martinelli scored 2 goals, came off the bench, looked lively. So for me, it's quite obvious Martinelli has to start at left wing. Right wing, no questions asked, Bukayo Saka. And up top, for me, would be Gabby Jesus. I know this might be a good game to start Nketiah because Nketiah is a perfect poacher, but I think Gabby Jesus will help us unlock that defense of Forest. And even though in the previous game against Forest where we won 2-1 and Nketiah scored, for me, Jesus starts up top. But yeah, guys, that's the starting 11 that I would go with. Let me know in the comments below what are your predictions for the game and what starting 11 would you play for the game. Let me know in the comments below. Please be sure to smash the like button, subscribe if you guys haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next one.